Good morning. I'd like to call the February 23rd, 2026 meeting of the East Kildonan Transcona Committee to order. In Councillor Wyatt's absence, I'm Councillor Jeff Rawadi. With the agreement to the committee, I'll be serving as today's chair. With me this morning, we have Councillor Emma Duran-Wood from Elmwood East Kildonan. I represent the North Kildonan ward. We have members of the public service with us here today. We have Brendan Harris, the committee clerk, and Choi Ho, the planner from Planning, Property and Development. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu, and Dakota peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. Councillor Duran-Wood, would you move that the minutes of the meeting held on January 26, 2026 be taken as read and confirmed? Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Councillor Duran-Wood, would you move that the minutes of the Residents Advisory Group meeting be received as information? Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And Councillor Duran-Wood, are you going to move a leave of absence motion for Councillor Wyatt for a personal matter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we will move into delegations. The following persons have been registered for the plan approval for North Devonshire Drive West and east of Private Davy Drive report. Okay, we have registered Jeff Pratt, Stickson, Lindsay Oster, Ola Adamui, Elise Downey, and Uma Olugu. We'll call Jeff up first.
5 minutes to make your presentation.
Just have some imagery here to load up.
I'll also get you to share the screen on Zoom as well.
Good morning. Thanks to the committee for allowing me to speak. My name is Jeff Pratt. I'm a planner with Landmark Planning and Design, 298 Waterfront Drive here in Winnipeg. I'm here as part of a larger project team to do plan approval for a new school at the corner of Devonshire Drive West and Private Davy Drive. And I will sort of set things up a little bit of background, and then there's representatives from the design professionals here that can speak in detail to the plans and answer any questions that the committee may have related to those. So as part of this larger project team, the province of Manitoba is the key proponent. The River East Transcona School Division will be running the school when it is constructed. Prairie Architects are the building architects. HDFC Planning and Design are the landscape architects. At Landmark, we're primarily responsible for the conditional use, which has already been obtained for the site. KGS and WSP are both provided engineering input into the design process. So just to show the site context here, we're at the northeast corner of Private Davy Drive and Devonshire Drive West. The site has residential multifamily small zoning. It's sort of bordered on two sides by a public reserve area and then streets on the other two sides. Back in December of 2025, we obtained a conditional use for the site to allow for a public school to be put on the site. Plan approval was a condition. So just to show some context here, the site that we're talking about has generally been shown as a potential school site in the secondary plan dating all the way back to 2006, the Transcona West Area Structure Plan. This site was created in 2013 by subdivision and rezoning as part of the larger development area that created all the lots, blocks, and streets in this neighborhood. So it's been sitting vacant for about a decade. So the school is projected to have 800 students, 75 faculty, and then 9 sort of additional staff. We exceed all of the parking and landscaping requirements as per the zoning bylaw. So 41 parking stalls would be required. There's 61 provided for the school, 7 required and 18 provided for the daycare. Bike parking is exponentially provided in excess of the zoning bylaw. There's 13 parent drop-off spaces. The design team is well aware that the big morning and afternoon rushes are important, and as much as possible on the site that's been accommodated. And then landscaping, Bruce can speak to it in more detail if required, but all of the requirements are exceeded. And the child care center is projected to have 104 children there and 21 staff. There was a traffic study performed by KGS that helped inform the site design and traffic flow on the site. And there will be ongoing discussion with Public Works about dedicated drop-off spots and any parking restrictions that may be required. So all of those discussions will be informed by a professionally prepared traffic study. So with that, that's sort of the background. I can step away and hand it over to the design professionals who are the real meat and potatoes, what we're here to talk about today. Bruce, I have some of those images that you sent over loaded on. Do you want me to just open them off my podcast?
The rendered site time would be good.
Perfect.
Before you move on, Jeff.
Sure.
I should be a little more familiar with this project than I am. Is this a high school?
It's an elementary school.
800 kids in an elementary school?
That is the projection. If there's any more specific questions about that, Ola from the province.
Well, I'm actually looking for your expertise. I mean, you're an urban planner. Should elementary schools be like a lot smaller and closer to where people live?
I think in what I've seen working on some school projects, it is moving in that direction of these larger schools. There is, as part of this tranche of new schools, there's 4 of them, basically all identical plans, 2 of them in Winnipeg, 1 in West St. Paul and 1 in Brandon, that are all being built through this batch of funding. And they all have the same sort of statistics. So, that's all I can say on that. I'm not really an expert on that, but I do think
I get driving to the hockey arena. You're not going to carry your bag. Schools should be, more walkable. I mean, I'm far from an herbalist when it comes to this sort of stuff, but this seems pretty.
There is a lot of attention paid in the overall neighborhood design and site design to allow for walkability for all the students who might live in vicinity. But I guess also with French schools and French immersion schools and everything, there is a lot of movement around between neighborhoods.
Okay, just a little surprising.
No, that's fair. This is yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Bruce Dixon, landscape architect with HTFC Planning and Design. So I'll walk you through the site plan that Jeff kind of teed up here. So the overall site is 4.75 acres. As Jeff mentioned, there's a city park here to the right. It's Sir Robert Borden Park here. There's an existing playground right here, and also a retention pond over here. So network of paths around the north side of the site, along the east, and active transportation paths, so 8-foot wide asphalt path on the south side and also on the west side here. So primary entrance to the school is on the west side on Private Davy Drive. One-way traffic entering this side here, the parent drop off along this side. So as Jeff mentioned, we have 13 stalls. The minimum required is 5. So we're exceeding that demand there. So understanding that pickup and drop off are important times of the day. So we have a generous drop off all along this loop here. Principal connecting sidewalk along here. So this will be a raised, what we call tabletop connection. So it's a traffic calming effect to slow drivers down. Good sight lines for coming to the main entrance to the school, which is right here. We're continuing around counterclockwise, exiting the school here. And then the dedicated daycare zone for parking is this area over here. So the daycare wing is this area of the school here, principal entrance here. The daycare itself has a dedicated play yard divided into 3 zones based on the ages of the kids. So that's on the west and the north side here, contained by a 5-foot fence. Connections to the school, to the pathways on both sides here. So as we mentioned, good way to come to the school grounds in the evening and daytime. Primary play areas are on the east side here. So the gym is in this portion of the school. Be able to come out to the hard surface place. We've got some basketball courts over here. Dedicated play areas. So these are the playgrounds, these different zones, again, divided by age zone. And then outdoor learning environment. So this is an outdoor classroom area, working with the school division itself. So it's a spot to get outside and learn and have classes in that area. Southeast corner is the bus loop. So again, traveling in a counterclockwise direction. Minimum requirement is 3 buses. We are providing 4. Primary sidewalk on all 3 sides. Large bay of bike parking here with good surveillance to the secondary entrance in the back. Bike parking across the front as well here. As Jeff mentioned, we're well exceeding the minimum requirement of 6 bike stalls. We're providing 117. Garbage and recycling access right over here. So the trucks would pull up, back out and leave, same motion as the buses. And again, other connecting pathways along the south side here. Primary landscaping is to minimum bylaw requirements for street buffering. So on the south side here, west along the private Davy Drive, and then interior landscaping. So this is any landscaping within the parking and hard surface areas. Again, as Jeff mentioned, meeting and well exceeding the minimum requirements. That pretty much covers most of the landscape development. Any questions?
I don't know if you'll know the answer to this, but the question on everyone's mind is, are the playgrounds going to be included at the time of the construction?
Yeah, so basically there's a set allocation from the province to develop the playgrounds. So each of the schools have decided whether they're going to develop each of the zones partially. This school division is choosing to develop one of the 2 completely. They'll have a full playground right off the hop. So
And for the daycare, same.
daycare is up to the provider. So there'd be hard surface play here as well as some grass, but any outfitting of the actual play yard is up to the provider. So where they're providing, trikes and, picnic tables, that nature is all up to the actual provider.
Just looking at Google here, it does look like Sir Robert Borden Park, which is immediately to the east here, has a fairly significant play structure already there.
Yeah. Yes, there's existing play structure here, and the field itself is up and running in terms of open play, soccer, what nature.
It looks like a thoughtful design, recognizing that there is still a lot of green space, on the immediately adjacent city park. So it looks like a thoughtful design.
Yeah, compact site, but I think we've, organized the site well to maximize usage.
I have no further questions at this time. No. Okay, thank you very much. Lindsay Oster.
Just to confirm, are you going to be using the same presentation on the screen there? Okay, I won't take it down then.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Oster. I'm a principal architect with Prairie Architects. We are the prime consultant on this 4-school bundle, which Jeff and Bruce both alluded to as this school is part of a larger package. I just wanted to maybe address some of the capacity questions that were raised earlier. So this is a school that is designed for a core capacity of 800 students. But its initial opening capacity currently is targeting 675, which has been quite typical over the last number of years for school designs. I just quickly in the background was checking some of the other ones. Amber Trails Community School, which was completed a number of years ago, I think 2015 it was open. That was a very similar with the Seven Oaks School Division, very similar opening capacity with a core capacity for 800 students. And also the integrated approach to having daycares integrated into schools has been quite consistent for a number of years now. And really, the overall intent of the school as the heart of a community, right? So this for River East Transcona, this is both the school community, but also the heart of the community as a whole. So very integrated design, as Bruce has alluded to with the park nearby. We have a number of renderings, just to sort of give a little bit of an idea more so of the form and the mass of the school. As has been discussed, it is a very compact site, which leverages the park beside for a school play yard, but really a very concerted effort to keep vehicular and pedestrian traffic separate. The school fronts Private Davy Drive with the drop off you can see here from the view from the corner of Private Davy Drive and Devonshire Drive West. This is the view from Devonshire Drive West and the park to the right. So you can see the bus loop in the foreground with some parking in the center. The location of the 6th classroom addition to get it to the capacity of that 800 students that we were talking about is in this location, strategically located here at the back with easier construction site access, but again, a very tight site. So consideration given there. So you can see sort of the dashed line on the green rendering here to show where that addition would be.
So it's what being built for 675 on day one or 800?
Currently, we are at just past Class B, 66% design drawings, and we're developing the drawings with the addition. And I believe a decision of whether or not the addition is going to go ahead as part of the initial construction is forthcoming within the next number of weeks. We're certainly proceeding as though, because it is a lot easier, of course, both from a constructability standpoint, but also from a budget standpoint to build it now. So I think certainly that is the school division's preference. They have an immense need within their community to accommodate students. And so this is something that I think all parties are working collaboratively toward. The schools are all designed with sustainability in mind. They're all targeting high levels with LEED gold certification as the target, but LEED silver as the minimum under the provincial mandate. The schools are all built with durability in mind. So all of these views that we're looking at, you can see materiality on the schools, masonry clad, where at low levels, where in contact with people, with some metal cladding above the main floor level. So this is just sort of a view from the corner of the public reserve on both sides, where you can see that outdoor learning environment that Bruce was speaking to here, and the play yards in the back with the fence here for the childcare components. And then back to the front corner on Private Davy Drive from the north. I also have plans that I can go through, but I did just sort of want to give a very high level overview and be here to answer any questions that you may have.
How many elevators are there?
One elevator. Yeah, and so this package of schools has been designed as a standardized core with the intent that this standardized core could be used on future school projects. So a concerted effort to locate all of the community accessible spaces in the heart of the school. So the library, the student services suite, which is very important from the perspective of accessibility, is front and center when you walk in through the main entry here, just directly to your left. The administration, an MPR space, which opens into the gymnasium, so that there is really nice and easy access for after hours use for community as well.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, up next, joining us over Zoom, we have Olaf Badumie. Apologies if I mispronounced that. Just gonna ask you to unmute and turn on your video. Oh, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, my name is Ola Fadumi, Portfolio Manager from Capital Projects Planning and Delivery Branch in the Department of Public Service Delivery. And I'm, of course, here with Uma Olugu. I'm just here to support the project team and to inform that we continuously engage with the school division to ensure that these schools, and particularly River Transcona, Devonshire site, is delivered to the community.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess my one question is, at one point I had thought I had heard that I'm Councillor Wyatt, who's the councillor for Transcona, is not here with us this morning, but he didn't ask us to hold us back, so we're going to move forward with this expeditiously to help this project keep moving forward. My one question was, I had thought at one point they were looking at a school site at Ravelston and Peguis. Is the new site now Devonshire, or is there a separate school being still considered for Ravelston and Peguis, either as a high school or the DFSM? GSM.
Yeah, currently this is the K-8 school at the moment as part of the first bundle, the Devonshire site.
Okay. Is the other one
Yes.
still being held for reserve for another school?
It's part of the 11. I will have to confirm that, but that's not part of the first bundle at the moment.
Yeah, the school division may have more information. I know they're registered in delegation too. I can ask them. Okay, thank you.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
And our next delegation is Elise Downey. Elise is joining us over Zoom. Elise, I'm just going to ask you to turn on your video, and you have 5 minutes to make your presentation.
Good morning.
Great. Thank you. Good morning. Hi, everybody. I do have some answers to Councillor Brawadi's questions. I'll start with the size of the school and being an elementary school. It's actually K-8. So it's elementary and middle years. So we do have other K-8 schools that would be that size. Bernie Wolf would be an example of that. One of the other questions I was also going to answer for you was we actually have over 1,300 students right now that live in our defined walking distance. And so under provincial legislation, we use walking distance to base busing on. And so students who live 1.6 kilometers or closer to their designated school are expected to walk, of course, unless they have additional needs. So the space for the busing I've shared, I only anticipate 2 buses probably transporting students to that school, even once it gets up to the 800 capacity, just because we do have a dense population of current students that live in that area that are in what we determine as the walk zone. And then your other question about the property on Ravelston, which was the former Sumka greenhouse, the school division does own that property. And we do hope for another school in the future. And given that parcel of land is approximately just over 7 acres, we anticipate it to also be either a K-5 or a K-8 school as well, again, given that density of student population in the area. So that was everything I had to share this morning, unless you have any questions.
Those schools are only like meters apart. Those 2 properties are meters apart. Is this intended to be an English track only school or English and French?
The first school that's going to be opening in Devonshire is going to be English.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Finally, Uma Olugu.
Joining us over Zoom. Uma, I'm just going to ask you to unmute.
Yeah.
Video.
Good morning. Yeah, I am the project manager for the site. My name is Uma Olugu with the Capital Planning and Project Delivery Department of the Public Service Delivery Branch. Well, I do not have so much to say. Basically, that we're looking forward to your approval. We're looking to provide the community with this school, which would be a great addition to the community and will help serve the people that live in that area and bring smiles to the face of the children. So that's what we're hoping that we would get. and we look forward to your approval. Thank you.
I have no questions here. Thank you very much. And
Just before we move on, is there any desire to be making amendments to the plan, just because we do need the applicants to concur with any amendments for the plan approval?
I think I reviewed the plans. I think we're probably in good shape.
Okay. Excellent.
In regards to report number 4, there's been a request from the area councillor specifically on that one to lay it over. Before we started the meeting, I did ask the clerk to see if there was any ability to perhaps have a special meeting on Thursday during lunch break from our council meeting. Did we hear back from the mayor's office?
Not just yet. I am still waiting for a response on that.
Still waiting for a response on that, right? Okay. I know there's perhaps one person waiting in the waiting room on this. We're just gonna wait to see if we see that notification from the mayor's office before I get to that item. We may still suspend the rules to hear from you if we don't, because we don't want to pull this back unnecessarily. Okay, so report number 1, the semi-annual summary of delegated authority. Okay, everything's all good, open and transparent here. We can all take a look at this report here. Looks good. Are you prepared to move it to Councillor Dranwood? And any questions? No? Okay, all's in favor? Opposed, carried. All right. Number 2, Kildonan Place. Where are we at?
This one was just laid over at the last meeting. Again, just to reiterate, this is not a formal plan approval. This was simply meeting a condition that the applicant needed to present plans to the committee for landscaping. However, it is not a formal plan approval.
Okay. Plans that have been submitted. What are the latest modifications to it? Where are we at?
Just. The changes haven't, the plans haven't changed. They're just still, they were trying to address some of the matters from the initial plan approval. And, looking at this, there's no additional information. I believe, from what I recall understanding, is that the council was speaking to it.
So October 3rd, there was function.
October 3rd was the approval of the plans.
Right. Okay, so I guess at this point, just to receive this information is all we need to do.
It's the committee in order to be laid over for the councillor to consider, but realistically, there are no substantial amendments that could be made that would actually change the plans. This is an informational item.
Okay. All right, council. Okay, perfect. All's in favor? Opposed, carried. Slushy machine, a nacho machine, a bar cooler, and a canteen freezer for Park City West. Again, Councillor White could do this under delegated authority, I believe, right?
Correct.
Okay.
He did I will note he did request that this be added to the agenda prior to receiving the application. So the application is here now. I don't know if he's had a chance to review the amount being asked for. But yes, this could also be approved via delegated authority.
It's on the public agenda. I think we probably, when it comes to money, we probably should leave this for Councillor Wyatt. Even though he didn't signal this one out, but he hasn't seen it, we should probably let him review the numbers.
What should we do? How do we make that?
It would be will of committee. It could be laid over to the April 9th meeting, or it could be received as information with the intention to have it approved via delegated authority.
I mean, we could move it, we could lay it over to the next meeting and he could still, if you wanted to, if it needed to be moved up time wise, he could still do it through delegated authority.
Correct, and then it would just be received
Which
as
is
information after the fact.
Yeah, so I say move lay over my recommendation, but up to you, Councillor.
All right, well then I will move layover to our next meeting.
All's in favor? Opposed, carried. Nothing yet from Mayor's office. We'll skip over 4 for a moment and we'll go to number 5. Which is the plan approval for North Devonshire Drive West and east of private Davy Drive. So the school. Very exciting. Again, it sounds like a new school is very much needed in this neighborhood. do question another K to anything school being a block and a half away, so a little odd. We do have some traffic challenges on Peguis. I really do think we need Peguis widened out to Concordia and Concordia widened going west up to all the way through to, I guess, Wilson, but that's another matter. It's not directly related to this today. Looks like thoughtful school design. I mean, it's it looks functional and it keeps different types of traffic sort of separated, both the daycare and the school and the parking and the bus loop. It's all nice and separated. With like parking on both sides of the school, the secondary entrance as well as the primary. Outdoor classroom on day one, the play structure on day one, plus the proximity to lots of green space at the park. I don't know, do you have any thoughts or?
I guess I share the same sort of concern. It seems like a very big school. I would rather see more smaller neighborhood schools, but that's where we're at, so.
Both the blue and the orange folks on Broadway seem to be going to this design, so. Okay. You want to move it or take the chair? I can move it, whatever you prefer. Okay.
Just move that the recommendation of the public service be concurred in.
Okay. Move that the recommendation of the public service be concurred in.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. New business.
We have received approval for a special meeting to be heard Thursday at noon.
Okay. So based on that, Counselor, if you could move on report number 4, way over to a special meeting, which will be called for Thursday, February 26th at 12 noon. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We can then go into recess until 10:30 for the hearing. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Good morning. We are now resuming the East Kildonan Trans-Kildonan Community Committee meeting, and we are proceeding to the public hearings portion of the meeting. My name is Councillor Jeff Waddy. I represent the North Kildonan Ward, and I'm today serving as chair. With me this morning, we also have Councillor Emma Duran Wood from Elmwood East Kildonan. We have members of our public service, Brendan Harris, the committee clerk, and Choi Ho, the area planner. I would again like to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu, and Dakota peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation and Treaty 3 territory. We'll now turn it over to the clerk to introduce the hearing procedures.
In accordance with the City of Winnipeg Charter and the Development Procedures Bylaw, the process the committee will follow is the applicant will be heard first, followed by those in support of the application. Next, those registered in opposition are heard, followed by those registered for information. Finally, the applicant may return to speak in rebuttal to comments made. However, no new information is permitted. Please note that when your name is called, it's your opportunity to speak. However, you are not obligated to do so. For a more in-depth overview of the public hearing process and other information pertaining to what happens before, during, and after a public hearing, please consult the City Clerk's Department website. Please note that all public hearings are recorded and will be a part of the public record. Should you have any questions after the hearings have concluded, please contact the City Clerk's Department. Item 1 is a zoning agreement amendment at 132 Scouron Crescent under file ZAA 10/2025. Please note communications were received with respect to the matter and have been distributed to all members of the committee. The process the committee will follow is the applicant is heard first, followed by those in support of the application, those registered in opposition, and those registered for information. The applicant may return to speak in rebuttal to comments made. However, no new information is permitted. Speakers will be permitted 5 minutes for their presentations. All participants in the Zoom meeting have been muted and will only be permitted to speak when called upon. At this time, I'll turn it over to our planner for a brief overview.
Thanks. The subject property is on the north side of Scouron Crescent. It's in the grassy neighborhood of the Transcona Ward. The site is just a single family dwelling, and the applicant's proposing to amend the existing zoning agreement that was caveated on the title from a subdivision and rezoning in 1986. So the amendment is for a reduced rear yard setback of 21 meters instead of 27.5 meters to a proposed new sunroom. In terms of policy, the application is consistent with our Winnipeg 2045 and with established neighborhoods, recent communities, policy areas. And then Public Works did indicate support for the zoning agreement amendment. They did note that the rear yard setback is intended to provide space for an outdoor recreational area. And the proposed sunroom will reduce this buffer in area, and it's bringing the recreational area closer to the future Chief Peguis Trail than what was originally intended, and where there might be higher noise levels maybe experienced when or if the road is constructed for the future Chief Peguis Trail. So the Public Service is recommending approval of the zoning agreement amendment for the following reasons. The reduced setback, it's about 69 feet to the sunroom, will still maintain adequate safety and compatibility measures for residential development in proximity to the future Chief Peguis Trail. Also, the outdoor recreation area, although it's reduced, the applicant is providing an indoor space, so a sunroom to enjoy the outdoors. And the applicant is aware of the potential higher noise levels when or once the future Chief Peguis Trail is constructed. And the building facade itself of the home, the single family dwelling, is still the 27.5 meters or 90 feet of a rear yard setback. That concludes my summary. I haven't answered questions.
Any questions for the planner at this time? Okay, hearing none, we will call for the applicant.
We have the applicant joining us by Zoom, Ernest Furchoff. You'll have 5 minutes to make your presentation after you state your name.
Good morning, Ernest.
Hi there, my name is Ernest Furchoff. My presentation is basically that, as it was in the letter of intent, that we're planning on adding a sunroom to our house. One thing I note a difference in is there is a subsequent zoning amendment agreement that I have referred to previously when I filed my application that does not appear now, and that was ZAA 7/90. That was signed with between Hilton Homes, the developer of the neighborhood, and the city of Winnipeg, that established a setback at 22.5 meters and not 27.5. Actually, all the houses on the north side of Skowron are within that 27.5 meter setback right now, because our house wasn't built until 1990 after that ZAA went into effect. And my application was actually for 21.6 meters. It's been changed to 21.5. So initially, all we were asking for was 0.9 meters, and now it's turning to be 1.5 meters, but that's fine, we'll live with that. And we've consulted neighbors, the abutting neighbors, and neither one of them has a problem. We actually had them sign some documentation to that effect because we initially, being unfamiliar with the zoning issues in Winnipeg, thought we could get away with either a variance or a tolerance. And they signed off that they had no problem with us extending our house by the amount of the proposed sunroom.
I have no question. Applicant, sounds good. We have a sunroom and it's literally my happy place. So.
Yeah. Well, it's a promise I made to my wife because we sold our cottage last summer. So
Fair enough.
if you want a place to go look at the outdoors.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant? Okay.
Just for the record, I'll confirm we have no registrations or no one in the gallery in support, in opposition. We did receive one communication for information on the matter. At this point, we could go to questions for the public service.
Is ready for motions then? Do you want to take it?
Okay, that's on page 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I move that the report of the Winnipeg Public Service be taken as read.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I move that the receipt of public representations be concluded.
All's in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I move that the recommendation of the Winnipeg Public Service be concurred in and forwarded to the Standing Policy Committee on Property and Development.
Just a minor correction, this can actually go to the Executive Policy Committee via the priority rezoning process.
Okay, so I move that the recommendation of the Winnipeg Public Service be concurred in and forwarded to the Executive Policy Committee via the priority rezoning process. Supporting reasons, this seems like a pretty basic request. The applicant is aware of, potential noise issues down the line, but it seems pretty reasonable to me and has the support of the public service, so I feel comfortable with that.
Chat that again, that's all up by the public service, the 69 feet setback is compatible. Okay. Motion's been heard. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And
that the public hearing with respect to this application be concluded.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Please note that the committee has made a recommendation on this matter that will now proceed to council. No further representations are permitted, and all persons registered for the public hearing will receive notice when the matter is to be considered by council.
For agenda, can we move consent of adjournment? Can we move adjournment?
Sorry?
Sorry, you gotta move adjournment for us?
Yes, so moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.